All right, Robbie, I got your inspection done, and I do appreciate you letting me come out and look at your home today. Would it be okay if I take just a few minutes to go over some termite concerns I found while I was out here today?
Sure.
Okay. Before I do that, I do want to ask a question really quick. What do you know about termites?
Well, I know they eat wood.
They do eat wood. Do you know that from personal experience?
Not me personally, but my sister, she had a issue with termites.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what happened with her?
I don't know all the details, but I know it did cost her a pretty penny.
Oh, okay. Well, did they end up having to move out of the house, or were they able to stay in while the work was being done?
Yeah, they had to stay in a hotel for a while.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we definitely want to make sure that don't happen to you. So let me tell you a little bit about termites. We're going to focus on 3 of them. I don't want to take up a lot of time explaining all these to you, but I do think it's important. Number 3 is your worker. That's the actual one that eats all the wood, does all the damage. Number 4 is a soldier. It actually is the one that protects the rest of the colony from predators. Number 5 is a swarmer. And the reason why I want to talk to you for a minute about number 5 is because a lot of times when we have people contact us because they have a problem, it's usually because they've seen the swarmer. The downside with that is that they've had to overpopulate before that swarmer comes out. So they could have been in your home for a long period of time before that happens. The biggest thing I can tell you about termites is they do a whole lot of damage. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you know your homeowner's insurance will not cover termite damage?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know that, but one of the reasons they won't is because termites do over $5 billion worth of damage every single year. Now, the reason that is because and the reason why your insurance won't cover it is because it's so big of a risk, but some of the reasons why there's such a big risk is because of hidden areas. So let me show you really quick on your home kind of what that looks like. So this is kind of a layout of your home. If you'll notice here, you've got your garage, you got your basement, and your crawl space. Your garage and your basement are slabs. Here's the concern with that is, and I don't know if you've ever picked up a rock on the outside of a home at some point, but if you look on the bottom of a rock, a lot of times you'll see that they're really moist, and you'll also see a lot of insects on the bottom of them. Well, your garage slab and your basement slab is very similar to just a huge rock sitting on the ground. The downside for us is that when we come out and do an inspection on the property, we can't visually see everything that's going on underneath that slab. We can only visually inspect roughly 10% of your home. There's still 90% of your home we visually can't see. Now with the crawl space, we can see a little more, but you still have the hollow blocks, and they'll work their way up a lot of times in mud tubes through those hollow blocks and right up into the wall. We visually can't tell that that's taking place. So we can see roughly 20% when we're doing an inspection on a crawl space, but it still leaves 80% we visually can't see. But there are 2 things I want to mention about your home that I think are important for you to know. You have the mulch here around the front where you did your flower beds, which a lot of people do that, but that's a wood source, perfect for termites. Then in the back, you've got that stump. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you about the stump, did you cut that tree down yourself?
I did.
Was it because of the branches hanging over on the roof?
It was.
Okay. A lot of people do that. When those branches of trees get real big, they'll cut them down. What they don't know is now that wood is dead, it's perfect environment for termites, but not only that, the root system for that tree goes the same exact distance as those branches did. So it's actually going all the way up underneath your home. And so it's kind of like a termite highway in a way. So very concerning and things we want to keep an eye on, okay? So knowing what we've talked about so far, would you agree it's better to take care of termites before they're a problem rather than after?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, let me show you a little bit more on why Cooks. And here's the thing. When you're doing service with anybody, you want to know why you're going to use that company. Well, with Cooks, we've been around for over 95 years. So that means we have a lot of experience in what we do, okay? Not only that, we have hands-on training, so everybody that comes on your property you know is going to be well-trained to take care of whatever's going on with your problems or issues that you're having. We also have strategically located offices, and the reason that's a benefit is because if you do have something come up that's an issue, that's abnormal, we can respond in a timely manner, which is a huge benefit to you. One that I love on here is we are a family-owned company. We are actually growing to continue to serve, not to sell off the business. And the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of companies out there, they get to a certain point, they sell off, but it puts the customer at a disadvantage. You don't have to worry about that with Cooks because we don't plan on selling off to anybody. We're going to continue to be family-owned. The other thing that I want to mention is the Better Business Bureau. Most people, when they've heard the Better Business Bureau, that's usually a negative thing. For us, it's actually positive because we actually won the National Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. And I think that says a whole lot to you about who we are as a company, okay? So why Centricon? With Centricon, I do want to explain a few things, and I'll show you really quick. If you look at the station here, you'll see Inside here we have the bait, and of course there's our station, here's the bait, and then of course here's the cap that goes on it. There's barcodes on there, but I want to explain to you a little bit so that you understand how this system works. We're going to place these stations every 8 to 10 feet around the property. We're going to monitor these stations every 365 days. If we were to find any issues on the home or around the home, we're going to come out more often until we get those under control. But we also have some ways to monitor that with these barcodes that we have here. It's a way for us to keep up with that as well. I don't want to talk down about liquid, and the reason why I say that is because Cooks actually used liquid all the way up until 2000. And then in 2000, we went strictly to Centricon. Here's the thing you got to understand about liquid. Liquid is the best it's ever going to be the day you put it in the ground, and it gets weaker and weaker and weaker until it's completely gone. The downside with that is what companies have had to do in order to keep that back up there is do what they call booster treatments. Booster treatments, there's no telling what those may cost, but they may have to do them every 2 to 3 years to get you back to where you need to be. With Centricon, when they install it, it actually gets better and better till it levels off. And the great thing is we have ongoing technical advancements. So every time Corteva has an advancement, we pass that on to you free of charge. You don't have to worry about paying anything additional for that. Not only that, this system is going to completely control termites around your property. We're not looking at just deterring termites or just controlling a few. It's going to completely eliminate the whole entire colony, which is a huge benefit. Also, you're looking at grams of material versus hundreds of gallons. It's less intrusive with no odor. But really one of the biggest points I want to point out to you today is this product actually won the Green Chemistry Award for being one of the safest products on the market. And I think most people, when they're protecting their property, want to make sure that whatever it is they use is going to be something safe for the environment and their loved ones and family members that come around. So knowing this information, wouldn't you agree Centricon would be the product you want to use around your property?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing you got to also understand is this is a service product. This product is only as good as a company provides service on it. So let me tell you a little bit about Cooks. With Cooks, everybody that comes on your property has been background checked. The reason why I bring that up is because you need to make sure that whoever's on your property doing work is somebody you can trust. Because there may be some times where you're not able to be home when that takes place. And you want to make sure you have trustworthy people. So we background check everybody that comes to work for Cooks. We also have Centricon specialists that come out here so they know what they're doing when they get out here on the property. We have QA checks. These are done by our local offices as well as our home office to make sure that we're doing our job exactly how it's supposed to be done. One of the biggest things I want to point out to you that I think is a great benefit is that once you've paid and had this installation done on your home here, this will go with you and transfer to any home you move to going forward. If everything qualifies, we can move this system and you never pay that initial service again, which is a big deal, okay? So knowing that, would you agree Cooks will be the company you want to use to do your service?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about the 110% satisfaction guarantee. It's really simple. We don't plan on ever using it for you, but we just want to have it there for a peace of mind so you know that we're going to do what we say we're going to do. If for some reason you're unhappy, we're going to give you your money back plus 10% additional on that. That way you know that we're going to do everything we can to make sure you're happy with the service. The other thing I want to mention is the guarantee. Now, this is considered what I would call our low-end guarantee. Retreat guarantee, there's several things you can call it, but I call it low end. And the reason why I'm calling it low end, Robbie, is because you're in a really good position today. Because I didn't find any major issues on your home, we're going to actually be able to offer you a damage replacement guarantee. And so what you're getting with that damage replacement guarantee is complete coverage on all the damage to the structure, as well as contents within the structure. And get this, no deductible whatsoever. That's almost unheard of, okay? The other thing is you never pay for another initial treatment. So once this is installed, unlike with the liquid, you have to pay those booster treatments. You don't have to worry about that with Centricon. It's a one and done thing, okay? And then it even moves, if your home qualifies, it moves with you. And you have a fixed monitoring fee for 3 years. Usually at this point, there's usually one question left to ask, and that's how much is it? So that's really the best part of the whole thing. We actually are going to be able to do it for $949. We can do that with check, cash card. What do you think would be the best way to do that for you?
I need some time to think about it.
Okay. And I definitely understand that, Robbie, that you'd want to think about it. But let me ask you a question. What exactly is it you'd want to think about? And the reason why I'm asking that question to you, Robbie, is because I know we just went through all this and you had said that you definitely want to take care of termites before they become a problem. You also had mentioned Centricon would be the product that you want to use, as well as Cooks being the company. So what exactly is it you'd like to think about?
Well, that initial price just seemed a little steeper than what I expected.
Okay, and I can understand if money's the issue that's kind of holding you back, but if money's what's holding you back from getting this done, that may be the exact reason why you want to move forward with it. Here's why I say that. You know, we talked earlier about your insurance not covering termite damage. We also talked about the $5 billion in damage and how big of a risk they are. We just talked about your guarantee and how you're in a really good position because you qualify for that damage guarantee that's going to cover the damage to the structure and contents with no deductible. Okay, let's hypothetically say that for some reason you have termite damage in your home, right? And then all of a sudden now you've got $2,000 in damage, which I think that's pretty low considering what your sister went through. But then you have to call me and you spend $1,000 to get termite protection set up. Now you're in it for $3,000. The biggest thing I want you to understand is now you're losing out on that opportunity for that damage replacement that's going to cover not only the structure damage, but the contents as well with no deductible. So knowing that, don't you think it would make sense to go ahead and take care of this and get this set up to give you peace of mind? And I tell you what I'll do, I can do 4 equal payments where there's no interest involved, or if you want to break it down over 12 months, you're looking at roughly about $7 a month in finance charges if you'd like to do that. Which of those would work better for you?
I can handle the 4 equal payments. That sounds good.
All right, let's go ahead and take care of the 4 equal payments.
Sounds good.
All right, good deal. Thank you.
Appreciate it.